Hey there, Dr. Von Duke here for quick and dirty rubric number 2. So what's the main thing you need to pay attention to when you're working on rubric 2? Rubric 2, as always, is part of the Special Education at TPA portfolio course. Rubric 2 is part of the Task 1 planning commentary. I will be producing and have consulted on videos besides the special education, but this series focuses on special education. The guiding question for rubric 2 is, how are my supports and strategies appropriate for my students' current level of performance? Now you see that rubric 2 asks about strengths and needs, but in light of the questions of rubric 2, really it's strengths and needs in regards to performing on the academic task at hand. Rubric 2 is a really important one for you to pay attention to and focus on, because when you can identify the student's strengths and needs and give evidence for them, this information will serve you well when you're filling out 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 15. So a lot of rubrics, especially rubric 12, comes back more specifically to strengths and needs. One mistake the candidates often make is they see that strengths and needs emphasis and they sort of throw it into everything, and it colors other questions, but it's not asked for specifically in all of those questions. 12, it definitely is. All right, so I'm Dr. Von Duke. I'm a professor of education. I provide this channel as a service to candidates who are trying to achieve this ambiguous task and difficult task while they're often in the middle of their student teaching or first year of teaching and possibly finishing up courses. And the mental burden of this task, I think, is rather high given all the other pressures and mental burdens that you may be under at this time. I try to tell you how all these moving parts work together, and I provide some further services which provide even more of a breakdown and more detail should you choose to find that you need that and you want to access that. All right, so the commentary that most pertains to rubric 2 is question 2A, which talks about prior learning, and that really just comes into play when you can only score a score of 2. And so you want to answer that. If you don't have good evidence of strengths or needs, then you would want to answer that well. Additionally, the reviewer, as they're looking at 3, may look back to 2A to see if the suggestions you say make sense in terms of the student's prior learning. However, the meat of this question is scored from 3A and 3B, and the last part of 3D, which has a question about the student being able to self-manage plan supports. I don't go into that here. That's more in the course detail, which you can find in the description below should you want to do that. But I think I broke this down for you as well. Yes, I did. So I'm not going to do that here. But question 3A asks how you have provided instructional strategies that connect to the learner's needs, their strengths, and their interests. Strengths and needs, specifically on the commentary, there's this little box under 2A which says look to the baseline. So really what they want you to have done is given a baseline to your student. Ideally, there's some sub skills on that baseline related to the skills that you're going to teach as well. So for instance, your student might not know the skills yet or score well on the skills that you're going to teach, but the sub skills necessary to learn that you think that the student should have, they score very well on. So that would be a strength. A need would be not scoring well on any of those skills, so showing that they don't have it, and perhaps not doing well on a sub score. However, a strength or need can be identified from, especially a strength can come from prior learning, but you could have also seen a student's need there. You could have observed them missing certain things, or you could look to worksheets or standardized tests to establish evidence of a need. But strengths especially could also come from lived experience, maybe a field trip that they did, a trip that they went on with their family, the cultural or community values or activities that they're part of with their family, their own personal interests, what have you. If you list something as a strength, don't also recast it as a need or recast it as an interest, because very often something could be cast in any of those ways. So whatever example you use, you need to have it stick to a need or stick to a strength or stick to an interest. And then B asks you to provide proof that your instructional strategies will provide challenge. Now, if your student did a baseline, it's pretty easy to challenge. If they only could answer 2 out of 10 on a particular skill, then you're pushing them to get a 10 out of 10. That's challenge. That's within range, but beyond where they are right now. So that's what the EdTPA means by challenge. But you can also, if you don't have that baseline, for instance, you could say that the logic of your lesson sequence increases in difficulty. What if your student already passed a strength, showed strength in one of the skills that you're going to teach? Well, you might want to think ahead about how to increase the challenge in that particular area. So they already have the skill, but maybe you can make the words longer that they're supposed to read, or the numbers larger that they're supposed to work with, right? To increase the challenge for students. So those are the kind of questions that you're asking in the commentary. I want to note that the commentary and the rubric, so you're advised in the student handbook to look to the rubric for sometimes things are missing on the commentary that you can't get credit for if you don't pull it from the rubric. But sometimes when you look at things on the rubric, it sort of acts as if there's no subject there. There's no you there who's devising an instructional plan. So it'll say something like, the learning tasks and plan support strategies provide appropriate levels of support and challenge. It's like they do that by themselves and you're not engaging with it. There's no subject there. But in actual fact, in the commentary, it asks you to explain how or describe how, like, how do your strategies provide appropriate levels of support? Justify that, right? So you're often being asked to connect the dots. So here's my student's need, strength, or interest. Here is the thing that I'm trying to teach them. Here's the support I'm providing. Think of it like a structural bridge, right? And this is how my student's going to walk across that bridge to get to that learning goal. And that's the how that you have to answer when you're answering in 3A and 3B in order to get the score as a 3 or beyond. So you can get a score of 1 almost putting anything down. A reviewer will check your plans to see if they match the learner's baseline or the prior learning from whatever artifacts you might have provided. But to get a 2, you really just need to show either that what you're doing connects with the student's prior learning, which you would have explained in 2A and be evidenced in some artifacts, or you give very vague comments about both strengths and needs. And the strengths and needs, typically the TPA wants you to answer these questions in light of the academic objective that you're trying to obtain. But in this case, you could refer to compliance or behavioral issues, and that would be adequate for 2. But again, you have to discuss both, and something could be described as a strength and a need, right? So you could say my student has a strength in using manipulatives. You could also say my student has a need of using manipulatives. So pick an example and determine if it's a strength or a need, but it can't be both things. You have to have 2 separate things, especially if you're going for this too. And up to about 7, 8 of your questions, you could answer a 2, which is pretty easy to answer, and then focus on 3s and 4s for everything else. Just assuming, again, go with the strength of your evidence and shoot for the highest scores where you have the best evidence. In order to get a 3, you have to provide evidence for a strength or a need. I would say to go for a strength first if you can, because if you have a strength and a need, then you can go for a 4, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But provide evidence for your student's need. Say they missed something on the baseline, or you've observed, or you go back and you write in iteratively that you observed, even if you didn't observe, because remember, the TPA is not checking up on how well you did with your focused learner. They're not asking you to prove that you're a good teacher for that student. They're asking you, can you think like a teacher? So if you missed finding out this information about this particular focused learner, you can make it up because that's showing that you're thinking like a teacher in the way that they would like you to show that you can think. So that said, this should be about the needs or strengths academically and not about compliance or behavior issues as in a 2. So this starts to push towards that academic learning objective. And then they'll check 2A. The reviewer will look at 2A to see what you wrote to make sure that the supports that you suggest make sense with what you say there about prior learning. But even if that part was very, very vague, having evidence of a strength or a need, and a good constructed argument for how that bridges your learner to the learning objective will win you a 3. One caveat that I want to mention here is obviously your student is supposed to have an IEP. Again, you don't have to provide evidence of that, but you will talk as if and will assume that your student does have one, and the IEP will mention typically a general need that your student has, maybe reading comprehension, but your specific task may be more narrow than that, and the student may have a need that's more specific to that specific task that you're trying to do, and then your support would provide that student's need in that specific learning goal and not their overall need of maybe reading comprehension. So if it's some aspect of reading comprehension, maybe they have poor working memory, or maybe they have trouble hearing the difference between phonetic sounds. So your supports are going to be more targeted. It's going to be on edge there. So if you talk about a general need and how you're supporting it, that will probably land you a 3. But if you want to get to a 4, you definitely have to show that linkage to a specific need to the specific academic target you're aiming for. To get a 4, you're qualitatively upping the challenge. So not only is it a need, it also is a strength and it's an interest. So you have to show evidence of 3 things, how you connected to those 3 things and how they connect to the learning objective. And you have to show that there's challenge. So in each of these areas, or at least in one paragraph, you have to explain how you're taking the student beyond what they could do on the baseline into something that they cannot do at present when they start doing the work with you. And then 5, you're going to add in a question 3D on the commentary, plans to self-manage supports. If you look at the commentary, that's just the very tail end of that question. The rest of it actually relates to rubric 3, which we'll talk about next. But plans to self-manage supports is basically, can you give your student something that's going to help offload some of the cognitive task, maybe a graphic organizer or some other way that's going to support them to do what you're asking them to do, and you can get up and walk away. So you've taught them how to use this in such a way that if you're not there, they still know what to do and it's still helping them make progress. All right, quick commercial. If you find this quick and dirty lesson has helped you, great, please leave comments and questions below. But if you find that you need more detail, you really need to be walked through each step of rubric 2, and you don't want to sort everything out and figure everything out and remember what to do next, then I have some courses in the description below that are all